Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm Subrat Sarkar. I'm a mechanical engineer by profession working in manufacturing industry since last 22 years. Today I'll discuss a topic which comes under the advanced communications. So specifically you can say it is a ego state analysis or transactional analysis. I will discuss today why communication fails and how it can be corrected. Many times we do communicate with many people in social life, in personal life, in professional life, and ultimately our communication fails. And we don't understand actually why it is so. So in communication, this is ego state analysis or transactional analysis. There are a few technical words. Let me explain in a simple way. One is called stroke, one is called transaction. Like all interaction made up is with strokes and transactions for any communications. Now, what is stroke? Strokes means a single unit of recognition between two people. Stroke can be verbal, it can be non-verbal, it can be positive, it can be negative, it can be varying degree of intensity. You are seeing some person, that can be a stroke. You are telling hi, that can be a stroke. You are telling where are you going, that can be stroke. So it is a communication that one less quantity of communications that is called stroke. And transaction means exchange of two stroke between two people. It's not that you were telling something from the other side or also getting some information. So this is actually transaction. Now there is two words in transactional analysis on when we talk or communicate. One is called stimulus, one is called response. The first stroke is called the stimulus. Suppose you are asking somebody something or you are giving some body language to somebody, that is the stimulus. And if the person is back with some response, that is called response. So stimulus and response. Now in ego state, there are three ego states we all have. One is called child ego, one is called adult ego, one is called parent ego. It doesn't mean you need to be a child actually by age. What is your mental state? That is his ego state in a simple way. A man says 60 years old and behave like a child, so in that point of time he is in child state. So it is a mental state actually, like whether it is child state, adult state or the parent state. And we have a normal understanding, like what is the image of parent, what is the image of child, what is the image of adult in our mind. So that is the reference actually of this discussion. For example, like typical parent behavior, what we understood in all, in all countries, in all society, that is parent mean, when somebody is advising, always, normal or typical parent character is, advising, criticizing, ordering something, fault finding, moralizing, scolding, nurturing, caring, loving. So these are the things comes in the typical parent behavior. Okay. Now parent can be of two types actually. One is called critical parent, who actually always, it's not that I'm not saying that parents' behavior is good or bad. There are two types of actually parenting. One is called follows rule type of parent, or the there's always holds options, this type of things. And one is called nurturing parents. They always supportive or protective or helps or guidance. I'm not saying what the parents, it is the young people can behave like that. This is in parent ego state. So for having ego state, you don't need to have that age actually. Okay, it's a mental state actually. This is ego state. And typical adult behaviors are, fact finding. If a person in discussion or communication, you will find that the person is fact finding, asking a lot of questions, analyzing something, the problem solving attitude, or the cooperating attitude, or for doing some work, he's doing some planning or coordinating. These are the typical, character of the parent and adult behavior. So you can understand that person is an adult ego state at that time. And there are typical child behavior, For that you don't need to be a child. Adult person can behave like that also, like laughing, crying, frightening, playing, enjoying, dancing, dependency, etc. So these are the typical child behavior. And there are two types of child. One is called adopted child, one is called free child behavior. Adopted child behavior means always polite, always sociable, less confident, procrastinate. But the free child behavior is open to life, always open to life, filled with delights, always spontaneous, always self-centered, very aggressive. These are the free child behavior. But at the same time, so you for a particular time, your behavior may be parent, your behavior like an adult, your behavior may not like a child. But at the same time, you cannot have three ego state. You can see in this picture. So you cannot be, the three things cannot be together actually. But I meant to say. So the learning point of this subject is you should have a right ego state at the right situation. That's the point actually. Okay. You can see here in this picture, she's by age she is child, isn't it? But her attitude is like parent, ego state. So this is actually ego state and the age are different actually. And you can see here by age the girl is an adult, but the behavior or body language at that particular time like a child actually. She is smiling from very naturally. Here in this picture you can see by adult by stage and child by behavior. They gone for some outing or something. So they are behaving like a child, but their ages are adult actually. But in some cases you can see here by age they are their parent actually. By behavior they are child ego state. So this is very important. Now how to identify the ego state in a person, because this is very important actually to make your communication very successful, so that this is needed actually in life actually. Nobody wants to fail in communications. So there are 4 ways you can identify the ego state of a person or make sure that person is in that ego state specifically. So one is different types of words used in different ego state. Different voice comes in different ego state. Different gesture posture comes in different ego state, and different attitude comes in different ego state. Okay. Now there are some words actually like never, must, stupid, ridiculous. These are the words typically used by the critical parents. Good, nice, don't worry, let me help you. These are the words typically used by nurturing parents. So these are the words in the parent ego state. When, how, why, where. Is there any alternative? These are the words used by the adult ego state when a person is in wow, funny, lovely, superb, hi. This is free child ego state. So there are typical words when a person is some ego state they use. You can identify the ego state by using the words. Even not seeing the person, over phone you can identify in which ego state the person at the time. And there are different voices, like strong voice, very authoritative voice is a critical parent, nurturing parent, soft voice, loving, always encouraging, etc. And for the adult, like even those, if a person is, voice is very even, voice is very calm, voice is very confident, there is unemotional voice. This is adult ego state voice. And for free child, the excited, energetic, over energy is a child ego state the person is. Now there are also some gesture and posture from which you can identify what is the ego state of that person at a particular time. Like closed ego state, like this. This is a critical parent, posture. You are doing that. You are responsible. This is a pointed finger. This is a critical parent behavior. Open arms, accepting something. This is a nurturing parent behavior. Still erected, posture, or the eye level, good eye level contract, and the formal attitude. This is an adult posture actually. and so wide-eyed, like they say, playful, or so these are the things actually by the child, posture or gesture comes when they are in that child ego state. And there are a lot of attitude actually, it is actually connected with the ego state. Like some person has always a judgmental attitude or a moralistic attitude. So it is basically critical parents. A person has an understanding attitude, caring attitude. It comes under the nurturing parents. A person has always open for the discussion, always evaluating something is a adult ego state. When someone is always very curious, very changeable, or very there's ashamed. This is basically child ego state attitude. Now, therefore, there's an ego state life position which is say that I am not okay, you are okay. I am okay, you are not okay. I'm okay, you are okay. I'm not okay, you are not okay. This is called ego state life position. This is very important actually to understand this transaction analysis subject. So I am not okay, you are okay is a child to adult behavior is called is I am not okay and you are also not okay. So both are actually waste of time, So this is a child to child transaction. I am okay, you are not okay. So I am okay. So this is a parent to child actually. I am okay, you are also okay. This is adult in the same layer. Parent here, adult here, and child here. Now, and ego state also keep people, their people looks are also connected with ego state. Many people, those who has a parent ego state, and actually, there's a by default, some ego state is leading to every person. Some person is by default is parent ego state, some person is by default, or natural preferred you can say. So it's a natural, always most of the time they are in parent state, parent ego state, most of the time some people adult ego state. So there are many things actually deformed when some person is always in parent ego state. A lot of frowning lines comes on the forehead. There are a lot of bad things comes. Looks become bad actually when some person is always parent ego state. And when some person is always child ego state, their looks always beautiful. And even in more ages, they looks beautiful. This is one of the things actually, which actually inside the brain and that reflects on the display on your faces actually, or in different parts of the body. So ego state is also connected with the look management, Now, so when somebody is in a child ego state, she or he always looks more beautiful actually. Now, you all know that as I am engineer by profession, so all my presentation comes with either some scientific analysis, some mathematical things, some statistics. So here in this transaction analysis or ego state, I'll also put some mathematical things which is called vector analysis of the transaction. When somebody talks or communicates, that can be analyzed in a different vector ways. So simply I'll try to explain something. Say there are three ego states normally we have: parent ego, adult ego, child ego. And you'll be very surprised. 2% when transaction, there are 72 possible vector diagram or the analysis can happen in different 72 directions for the same small communications. So it is also a very technical subject, this transactional analysis, though it is a subject of communications. For example, I'm asking somebody, what is the time? So it's in the office today. I'm not, wear my watch, and I'm asking somebody, say at the evening, what is the time? Either person say it's 6 p.m. That's fine. So over. So I'm asking some information. He or she is giving some information. So there is no crossing or something. This is adult to adult. Now at the same way it can happen then. I say, what is the time? The person on the other side, I can get a lot of other different answer, possible answer. Don't you have any watch? Or I say, you were always trying counting when 6 p.m. will come and will go to your office, your home. So then I am asking for some information, but he is treating me like a child and he's keeping his position on here is the parent. So communication will cut. This is called cross communication. So vector analysis transaction is getting cut off. So you will not feel very comfortable with that. So in our life also many cases we ask something and we get answer in different dissatisfactory way. So there are, in life we should have 10% ego state for the parent ego state, and adult ego state should be 30%, child ego state should be 60%. So if you find this presentation is interesting and informative or rather useful for life, you can share with your friends and you can subscribe my YouTube channel also. Thank you very much for your attention.